Hi, this is pharmacist Curtis Alexander. In this video, I want to cover a topic that would affect a lot of people, I think, because a lot of people take melatonin, and I don't know that a lot of people should be taking. I have some reasons why I don't think they should be. I'm going to state those. I want to say up front, that doesn't mean I hold that opinion for everybody. I do think there's a time and a place to possibly supplement with it short term, but by and large, I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit on supplementing with it, and I'm going to cover the reasons why here. So, first of all, the problem, most people are going to take melatonin because they have trouble getting to sleep, staying to sleep, those sorts of things. But what I find after talking to people is they're not really considering the root cause. They're not addressing the root cause of the sleep issues, and melatonin is not going to help them get that done. So, for example, I talk to people and they're like, I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night, so I want to take melatonin so I stay asleep. But one of the things that happens after I dig a little bit, these people are waking up partly because of a stress response. So when you go to sleep, your body, because you're not eating food, will rely on your glycogen stores in your liver. If your glycogen stores aren't available or there's not enough, your body will initiate a process that is essentially a stress process. It will increase these compounds in your body to generate the glycogen from your own tissue in your body, since it's not available in the liver. This is a normal response, but it is a stress response, so people will wake up and they'll have trouble getting back to sleep. Well, melatonin has nothing to do with that process. It's not going to benefit it, so taking melatonin in that case isn't going to be beneficial. And that's why I say usually sleep problems are caused by nutrition issues. I know people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. And so that's the first reason I would kind of pump the brakes. The next thing, this one to me is huge, and it has to do with your thyroid health. So think of it this way. If your thyroid is high, your melatonin will be high. And the reason for that is melatonin can actually block the production of thyroid hormones, and it's a protective thing by our body. When our metabolism is high, melatonin will kick in to block some of the production of those thyroid hormones and essentially acts as an antioxidant, so you don't have oxidative issues going on, but it's trying to tone down the metabolism. The same thing happens if your thyroid is very low. If you have a hypothyroid, you have a slow metabolism, you're going to have low melatonin levels. So the problem with supplementing, if you have low thyroid and you're supplementing with melatonin, it's going to quell the production of your thyroid hormones and make that situation worse. So again, let's go to the root cause. If you have thyroid issues, it's highly likely supplementation is not going to be beneficial. It could be harmful. So get the thyroid part figured out first. Next, we have dosing. Can't tell you how many people I run across and they're dosing 1, 2, 3, 5 milligrams of melatonin. That's normally not the levels that you have in your body. If you are a healthy person, you should be secreting enough melatonin. It's highly unlikely that the amount of melatonin in your body is the issue if you're healthy. Again, we're coming back to that root cause thing. But if you're dosing 5 milligrams of melatonin, that's a really high dose. It's not what your body would normally have in your blood system. And I think it's going to introduce a lot of problems down the road. So if you're set on supplementing with melatonin, I would do it with a much lower dose. I would start out literally like 300 micrograms, less than, less than 1 milligram. Next, and a lot of people don't realize this, melatonin doesn't actually put you to sleep. The best way I've heard to describe this was from Dr. Louis Buenavir, and what he said is it induces, he called it a quiet wakefulness. It doesn't put you to sleep. Is it part of the sleep process, triggers that happen in your body? It is, but it's not a compound that puts you to sleep. People have this misunderstanding about melatonin. The other thing we see when you take it, is it actually drops your core temperature and your basal metabolic rate. This is kind of tying back into the thyroid. But if you have, say for example, and it makes sense, if you have melatonin being secreted while you sleep, it does slow down the body's processes. But if you already have thyroid issues, if you already have these metabolic issues, it's going to compound it because it's going to slow them down even more. The other thing is, I mentioned melatonin is an antioxidant. It's also a hormone. So when you take something that's a hormone, just like vitamin D is a hormone, you're going to have wide-ranging effects in the body. It's known to affect diabetics. It's known to affect your immune system. It's known to affect steroid, or it's not known, it's concerning that it could affect steroid production. And that's the last thing I want to touch on. I said carefully that it could affect steroid production because a lot of that work has been done in rat studies, so I'm not ready to go there quite yet. But there is concern about, for example, the amount of testosterone that could be produced in males. It appears that there's a risk of that being decreased when you take melatonin. So all in all, again, if you're a shift worker and you need melatonin and it helps you get to sleep, you know, to me it's a risk versus reward. Shift work is a known risk factor for cancer. It may make sense to supplement with melatonin. What we want to try and do is, if you're going to do it, do a low dose, do it for a short period of time. But for the vast majority of folks, you have to get the root cause of your sleep issues figured out. Normally it's nutrition. And if you have thyroid issues, again, that's a nutritional issue. So we keep coming back to nutrition. For most people, they should not need melatonin, and most people should not be supplementing with it, in my opinion. So hope the video was helpful. If you have questions, post them in the comments. I do my best to answer them as I do more videos. I have a tough time keeping up with stuff, but I promise I read them. I also really appreciate in the comments if you have ideas for other videos. That's helpful to me as well, to know what videos you guys would like to see. So again, pharmacist Curtis Alexander, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.